was on the phone yesterday with an organization, a brand name organization, with the CEO of one of their major divisions, their most premium division. When you went to work for this organization, if you did your job, he said this, if you just did your job well, you'd have a job for life, a pension, benefits, and nobody ever quit this company. Nobody ever voluntarily resigned this company. And their motto was people, products, and profit. If we invest first in our people, they will create the great products which will produce the profit. They've had to have a layoff. They've had to cut, on average, pay and benefits by 20%. 30 to 40% of their workforce says that when the recession's over, they're going to potentially look for jobs elsewhere. And the joke is, oh, it's 3 Ps all right, except profits first now. And they lost money. They're not one of these companies that has billions in the bank and are just acting tough. This is a great American company. The founder is still the chairman of the board. But the forces, the economic forces are so overwhelming that they've even been brought to their knees. You're all familiar, I'm sure, with the Gallup Q12 measures about how you create full engagement by creating an internal fairyland. You know, where your boss has an interest in you and you have friends and you have all the tools and resources you need to use your strengths. That is fantasy land. That exists in somebody's career. If you have a 30-year career, that might exist total time, 5 years. You cannot create an environment where you always have a good boss, where you always have the resources that you need and the training, the opportunity, and friends. It's impossible to sustain that. You can't do it. And as soon as you try to do it, you become patronizing. You create a culture of adult child. In other words, the employees are victims of bad management. You know, we got to wait for them to change policies. And until they do, my job sucks. So we've disabled generations of employees with this kind of thinking. And the new generation, and boomers are running out of time, and they want redemption right now. So they're saying, we got to do something right now, and I'm certainly not going to wait for my company to get religion. The kids are cynical enough already to say, there's no employer that's going to do that over a long period of time. The biggest restraining force on remarkable, innovative corporate social responsibility is the thought that it's not my responsibility, that I have to wait for permission or budget or something else to do something that matters. So I'm teaching a class. Carl's in the class. He works for a name brand national retail concern. And he is frustrated because every year they provide millions of these things to customers. And these things are one of the greatest poisons ever invented by mankind. These things never, according to the latest research I've read, never decay in a landfill. They're rated at 250,000 years. How's that? But supposedly they never do. And the average time used by a plastic bag, less than 5 minutes. You know, just getting it to the car and getting it home. So, this guy is on fire with, we got to quit using plastic bags. I mean, if Costco could just go cold turkey and say, use this box, no focus groups, no employee opinions, no consumer opinions, just, this is stupid. We're not going to use plastic bags anymore. Either bring your own or use a box. Recycle it for us. And he's thinking, gosh, if Costco could do that, we could do that. Gosh, in Europe, there's businesses that have actually turned it into a plus because, you know, here, I mean, you can go to Trader Joe's and buy one and feel better that you reuse, right? You know that China has a tax on plastic bags? China. So, I am not responsible. Why? My boss won't let me. When I've gone to my boss, you know what he said? He said, oh, I've talked to five store managers, and they all say, oh, the customers really need these plastic bags. They wouldn't know what to do without it. So he's sitting in my class whining and complaining. And I'm saying, well, does your boss know anything about how these other companies have handled this? How any of them have turned it into a positive brand message? Or in some cases, even a profit center by selling bags. Does it? Well, no, I don't think he pays attention to that. Why don't you make a business case? Why don't you become an expert in everything having to do with plastic bags and why your customers would really like it if you handled that in a different way? I don't know. I never thought about doing it. What happens if you did? You know, it'll take you about 3 days with Google to figure out everything you need to make and make a business case. And guess what? It might not go over the first time. Your job is to become famous as the anti-plastic bag man in your company. Because if you persist and you don't let go and you keep coming up with good ideas, you will get a group of people around you who also have even better ideas than you have. And eventually, over time, it may take 5 years, it may take 10 years. At some point in time, the organization will crack because of your water torture. You are responsible. Well, to use another technical term, he got pretty jacked up. In other words, he had a reason to go to work because where he was in the company actually allowed him to do something that he believed in, that he really thought would benefit the company. So the way you engage your people is to liberate them. Corporate social responsibility is about personal social responsibility. That we can do this together. We're not going to be a toxic work environment, but any organization cannot do all that they should, all that they want to. But we can do so much